Good to see you guys here. And today we're going to continue looking at Jesus' temptation in the wilderness. Remember, he was, right after he was baptized, had a mountaintop experience. The next thing was the devil tested him. God allowed him to be tested by the devil. And that happens to us too. We have a mountaintop experience. Think of Elijah, and then the next step sometimes is we're in the depths and we're attacked by Satan. So this is where Jesus says he's in the wilderness, and Satan has been given permission to tempt him. And just like Job, God will allow Satan to tempt us. And it's always to prepare us and build us and strengthen us. That God has a purpose behind it. So the devil comes to him. The devil waits 40 days because Jesus is fasting and by himself. So he doesn't come right at the beginning. He comes at the weakest point. So that's something we learned last week. He comes when we are depleted. He will come and attack us. After a long day at work, or the long, or it's not feeling well, different things like he'll come when we're depleted and offer us like instant gratification. So the first temptation we discussed last week. The second temptation is in verse 5 through 8 of Luke chapter 4. So I'm going to read that. The devil led him up to a high place and showed him in an instant all the kingdoms of the world. And he said to him, I will give you all their authority and splendor. It has been given to me, and I can give it to anyone I want to. If you worship me, it will be all yours. So Jesus is in the desert, and the devil shows him the riches and the kingdoms of the world. And it's true, there are kingdoms of this world. Not only countries, kingdoms, but there are powers in this world. There are wealthy people in this world. There's money in this world. There's a system in this world. And those things can attract us. They look so like they'll meet our needs, right? To have a new car, to have the money, to have the position. Those things will attract us. And they're not, some of them are not wrong in themselves. Might have a better job, to be higher on the corporate ladder. It's not bad in itself. But the devil here says he will give it to him. So I thought about that for a long time. I looked at some other verses. The devil is called the prince of this world in several places. Whether it's true that he has the power to do that or not, I don't know. Because, number one, he's the father of all lies, so he's a liar. So he can say things that I can't trust that he says that. So I tried to confirm it. And in other places, yes, God calls him the prince of this world. John, the disciple, calls him that also. And so it's possible. But nothing can happen without God allowing it. So I don't give any credit to what the devil says there. But I know the devil is through and through the kingdoms of this world. They're corrupt systems. And you all know, you see the political systems, the business systems, they're corrupt through and through. They're driven by greed. And greed is one of Satan's temptations, that you don't have enough, and enough is never enough. You always need more. Think of billionaires. They continue to try to build their kingdoms. So the devil leads him to that place, and he offers him everything in the world. And Jesus is God. Jesus is God. But in human flesh, right now in the position he's in, that would be a pretty good offer. It would look good. And remember, whatever Satan offers looks good. It doesn't look bad. It looks good. So, but there's a catch. And the catch is verse 7. If you worship me, it will be all yours. So there's something you have to trade to receive those types of things, those worldly types of things. And that's you have to worship Satan. Maybe not directly, but you have to put those things as your God, and behind them is Satan. And that is a big temptation for many people today. And we see many people going after that. Many, many people. Our society is built on that. Seeking more, and more is never enough. Going after more, getting a higher position, doing all these things. But there's a catch. You have to sell yourself to that. You have to sell yourself to that. But Jesus doesn't give in to that. He answers, it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. And I believe the secret of overcoming this kind of temptation, the temptation for more, the temptation for worldly things. I mean, if God blesses you and gives you those things, that's not wrong. But to seek them with all your heart, to make that your goal, that is where Satan will get a hook in you. The secret to overcoming that, and I believe Jesus had that, was contentment. The power of contentment. Whatever circumstance you're in, if you're content, I'm content right where I am, living in this apartment with a minimum wage job, having enough food to eat, I'm content. Having clothes, I'm content. And then naturally we work to improve ourselves, that's not a problem. But if we decide we're going to make that our God and worship that and seek that, I got to get that position and put everything else aside. I see it all the time. People get saved, they start coming to church, then that changes, and they start seeking a job and getting a higher job, and then before you know it, faith becomes just a Sunday thing. That's like a tradition, if at all. There are two kingdoms. We worship God and his kingdom. We worship the world and its system. And contentment, the power of contentment, will keep us from that temptation. Jesus was content. Even with no food, he was content. So I had no attraction. And if I'm content in my position, I won't seek things in a wrong way. I won't sell my soul to the devil to get things, so to speak. I'll be content. So contentment, and I'm going to turn to 1 Timothy 6:6, where it talks about contentment. 1 Timothy 6:6 says this, but godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that. So if we have that, we'll be content. And that temptation to exchange our life of faith to make more money, that won't be a temptation, because I'm content. Yeah, it's great if I can get better clothes, get a better position, do this, that's fine. But I'm not going to exchange anything for that. I'm going to continue to worship God. And yes, there are people who are in the political system who are Christians and real followers, but I would hope they would be content if they weren't in that position. And then it says, those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. And that was the trap. That was the temptation and the trap that Satan was setting for Jesus. Worship me. You'll get all these things, but you're going to have to exchange something for it. You'll have to worship me. You'll have to worship these things more than God. And then verse 10, he says, for the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. That's the temptation Jesus faced. To seek those things first. Seek God first. And all these things will be given to you. It's a matter of what you put first, what you seek first, what's in your heart. And so Jesus was able to reject that offer of the kingdoms of this world because he was content. And he was seeking God first. And then it's up to God. Whether God would raise us up, whatever God would give us, we're content with that. And God has promised food, clothing, shelter, the basic necessities of life. But most importantly, his presence. And so the way we overcome that temptation is contentment, the power of contentment. So if we're content, we'll be like Jesus. I worship God and worship him alone. I'm not going to exchange my faith. I'm not going to barter my faith for anything else. That's first in my life. So the devil had no hold on him whatsoever in this type of temptation. So I encourage you all, myself included, let's be content with where we are in our life and live a peaceful life. And God will take us where he takes us and use us how he uses us. So if you need prayer today, just leave an instant message or text us, and we'll be happy to pray for you. We're going to pray on the topic of contentment today. So God bless you, and see you in 3 weeks.